Hi everybody, Shannon and Karen with Wandering Out Yonder. And guess what? Today we are attempting to install the runners that we purchased. When did you buy these?
I got the running boards back in December.
Right.
They showed up.
Yep, they showed. Now this is the company that we bought them from. Romik, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Romik,
yeah.
Right. And from what you've told me, they are specifically made for the Ford Transits.
Right. And my big thing was I did a lot of research. I did not want to drill in the van.
Yeah.
I did not want to drill into the frame of the van for any reason whatsoever. So I found this company, and the reason that I decided on these is because it is 100% no drill. No drill and easy installation.
Okay, so anyhow, they came in the mail, right?
Which the company was great. They were here within 4 days of ordering.
Yep. All right, so they arrived, and Shannon at some point opened the box up to see what, it was what we were dealing with.
2 boxes. One was the runners.
Right.
So we have the driver's side short, and then the passenger side for the entire length of the passenger side.
Right.
The second box was the brackets, which also included
a bag
of hardware,
which was just pretty much
all thrown together.
Bag.
Yeah. No kind of indication of what part was part.
So yeah, the instructions, needless to say,
are tiny. Who can read that?
Right. And not very detailed. Okay, so
No.
you get a diagram of the parts and a microscopic list of what the parts are. Okay, and you're supposed to correlate them with the microscopic photos here, or pictures, which we actually used a magnifying glass to figure out this stuff. And then this is your instruction. That's it. So we were both like, wow.
I put it right back in the box, shoved it off to the side, and figured I can't do this.
Okay, so
it's now July.
Yeah, it's now July. It's actually the 4th of July. Happy 4th, everybody.
Yeah. They have been sitting
right,
in the shed.
Right. So we decided, okay, we're going to try to tackle this and figure out how to do this. Well, Shannon started looking on YouTube. There are people who have also bought these, who have, fortunately for us.
Well, Romik offers, in all fairness, they do offer, it's like a 1 and 30-second installation video.
Right.
But again, nothing is detailed. Nothing is marked. I'm used to assembling stuff that it says put A nut into B, or hook it up with B bolt. Nothing is marked like that. So Karen offered to help me sort through the mess of hardware.
Right.
And
so we first tackled that issue was because, like we said, all of the hardware was just thrown into this Ziploc bag. There was nothing labeled, nothing marked, nothing that said this went to bracket D or part A or anything. So we had to kind of go through the, again, microscopic, seriously, we used a magnifying glass to separate out these tiny little parts to figure out what was what. Did that first. And we'll show that to you a little bit later on here, how we did that. The reason that we chose to do this video is hopefully that we can help some other fellow van lifer, somebody who is wanting to install these, because that would have been real helpful for us to have a little bit more information. So we thought we would share. We're going to go ahead and begin, and we're going to share with you how we went through the process of getting this all together, so that maybe it does help you. So,
and anyhow, hopefully we are going to be able to do this.
Yes, without killing each other.
Yeah.
What?
So,
all right. Okay, so we want to show you how we first started this. And like I said, here's the instructions. Oh man, magnifying glass. Yeah, right there it is.
Yep, that's what we had to do.
All right, so we used the magnifying glass. We got all of these are up here, or are the nuts and bolts and so forth that you have to use to put the pieces together, right?
All right,
that's what was thrown into the plastic bag.
That is this list, which this is actually this that I took a picture of, blew it up on the computer and printed it out so we could read it.
Right. All right, so anyhow, like we said, we used the magnifying glass. We separated everything out by their number on the chart over here.
All right, so now our corresponding, now number 14, we know is right there.
Right. And then this little bowl right here is what's left over. And they send you enough if you have an extended cab, I believe. Isn't that what that?
The extended wheelbase.
So this is, we don't have that, so we don't need this many. And we're just going to set these off to the side. But this is how it started.
All right, and so here are the brackets. Now, some of them, they do have labeled, which is helpful. But, like, this is the extra support brackets for the driver's side. And they don't, like, there's no A or B. It's a lot of, I guess if you put together models or Legos as a kid, you're good to go. Otherwise, it's gonna take Karen and I a bit to methodically go through these pieces. But I'm pretty sure by doing this, we're ahead of the game.
So we spent the last half hour going through the brackets to put the runners on to try to sort those out. Very confusing. All right, so if you look down here, we've labeled them based on the blown up.
Yep.
Yeah, Shannon.
Again,
she blew that up for us.
this is the instructions that come with it. Took a picture of it, blew some of the stuff up on the computer because we can't read that.
So anyhow, so we've labeled them.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we
Not sure what these two are yet.
we have a decent idea of at least what our parts are.
Right.
So now we need to try to figure out how to
Put them together.
put all of these parts in this sequence.
Yep. And that's that. So, through just using the map that they have here that we've blown up, we were able to determine what nuts and bolts were supposed to go where on the one piece. This is the driver front. There are two driver front pieces that we're putting together right now. We have figured that out so far. Process of elimination here.
And our color coding here is what we've accomplished, so we're certain that we haven't missed anything. So
Right.
the bracket is assembled, and Karen suggested that we go ahead and put in the screws that are going to go to the van, so they're in with the proper.
Right. So when we go to put it together, we're not looking around for
Right.
stuff. So anyhow, all right.
All
So
right.
that's that one.
Whew.
Next is the other driver's side, rear or back. We're not sure which it is because they're not marked
Yeah,
rear
they're not.
or front. They're just marked driver.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is the back. It's bigger.
Yes. No. That is the back, because here is the driver rear part. All right. So we need to mark.
All right, driver rear, driver
Oh,
front.
and we got driver front. Okay. Yep.
All right,
I
so-
highly recommend a buttload of Post-its.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Markers and patience.
Ready? Number 13 here, and number 14, and number 11.
13, 14, and 11. So this is where this has come in handy. So Karen said
13, 14, and 11.
13, 14, and 11. So I'm coming back down here.
So we have all these pieces together here. And I have discovered that you have to kind of screw this in to this piece first. Kind of get it in there. Well, yeah, let me get it in there a little bit more. And then,
Yeah, because this will be coming back off to actually go in the van.
yeah, and I don't want to break anything.
Well, and don't go, from the video that I watched, don't go tight with that washer. That plastic piece.
I'm not. I'm just getting it on. It's just on there.
All right, so
So
then,
it's on there.
right, so
And
then
that's
here, just to show you how we're doing it, Karen's then going to mark off 11, 14. So we know we've done that.
it. All right. So next, this is what we're going to be looking for next are these pieces.
All right.
All right. So again, we just kind of did this process of elimination and put together these pieces.
And
You
we
can
have
see.
this is all the hardware that's actually going to hook to the van, but we want it all in the proper spot, so when we go out and try to crawl under the van to do it, everything is right where it needs to be.
And
in.
this will go to the van too.
Right.
So they're on there loosely. So all she would have to do is you know, undo them, bolt it through, and then tighten it.
But everything is in the appropriate hole that it's going to go in.
Right.
And this has not been an easy task so far.
No, this is the driver rear piece that we're dealing with right here. So we finished the driver front, the driver rear.
Yeah. So
those are the
if
brackets.
instructions like this would have been included, this would have been a lot easier.
Right.
But we're kind of having to wing it.
All right, ready?
Okay, so about 2 hours later, we have the passenger side, the driver's side ready to go. This was our method. So we are ready to go tomorrow, once it's cooler in the morning. Karen and I will be attempting to put on the brackets and the boards. Okay, so after several trips under the van, trying to figure out what this piece is, since we have the short wheelbase and we're going to be using this piece, I finally figured out, after pulling stuff up on the internet, that the long piece and the short piece for the passenger side actually go together. And the reason that we didn't know that is because this entire page was missing out of the original instruction booklet. So for the short wheelbase, it shows you the part, but without this, it took a bit to figure out that this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be combining the small piece and the large piece to only use front, two middles, and the back. And after borrowing Karen's son's torque wrench and going and getting adapters and watching YouTube videos on how to correctly use a torque wrench, we're just now getting started on this. Okay, so I am undoing what I was attempting to do here, because it got to a point where the screws weren't going in very easy. And then I realized that though these two plates look the same, they're not. One side does not have recessed holes, and the other side does have recessed holes. And again, nothing at all mentioned in the instructions or even the missing page that I had to pull up about this. So if you go with these, make sure that your recessed holes are on the outside so your screws sit back in, because these eventually are going to be pushed together flush.
Okay, so
the bigger ones, yeah, the bigger nuts, those are 16, the smaller ones are 7. All right. Got you underneath there. All right now. So smart, I tighten it, but I make Karen test it out first. All right, so let's see. Yeah? Any give? No give at all.
So 2 days later, guys, 2 days. This was supposed to be an easy project. It was not.
Yeah, they said 90 to 120 minutes.
Right. And like we said, when we got the boxes, when they delivered them, which they did a good job with that, they delivered them pretty quickly. We opened it up and discovered the instructions were not very good. The parts were not labeled at all. The only parts that were labeled were 2 pieces that said driver's side, I think.
Yeah.
That was it. Okay, so we had to look at the microscopic instructions to figure out what went with what. After we spent half a day doing that, making sure we had everything correct, Shannon came out yesterday and spent the entire day getting these things on.
On the hard, hot driveway.
Yes.
So I will say, possibly with someone that has a little bit more experience, may have not had such a difficult time with it. This was the first time I've ever done something like this, and it was challenging.
Right.
Very challenging for me.
One of the things that it required was a torque wrench,
Which I had to learn how to use.
which we didn't have, and we didn't want to invest the money in. They're expensive.
Yeah, so,
My son had one, so we were able to borrow one from him.
yeah. Thanks, Alex.
This is not a project, if you've never installed something like this, it's going to be quick. I'm not sure why they would assume that you could quickly get this done. But
Possibly with better directions.
Yeah, possibly if they would be a little bit more detailed with their directions and possibly find a way to label the parts better about what goes with what, make their directions a little more visible. I mean, I have a hard time seeing things because I wear glasses, but Shannon doesn't wear glasses and she had a hard time, so it wasn't just because of that reason. But anyhow, 2 days later, they are installed.
They are.
I mean, we're not unhappy with them in particular.
Yeah, show it.
We think they're going to work out really well for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's going to work out fantastic. I'm not knocking this product. This is a good product, and it's going to work well for us.
Yeah, I'm pleased with how they look. Just
It was just a nightmare.
It was. There was no distinguished parts for the short wheelbase as opposed to the extended wheelbase, so we had it was just a lot of figuring out stuff that.
Okay, so I'm going to take you around here and show you the other side. So here's the long runner.
Oh, and
This
again,
actually came in 2 different pieces,
yeah,
and you had to figure out how to get them together, which it's not flush, so we were not real happy with that part, but
it's still, for the most part, I guess,
it's going to work for us.
Considering we've never done anything like this before.
Yeah, so don't want you to think we're knocking the product. It looks like it's going to be pretty sturdy and good for us. We were just really frustrated with the directions that came with it, and especially because we're not experienced in this, and I am sure there are a lot of other people who are doing van life type things, upgrading things, who are also not experienced.
Right.
So they could probably do a better job of giving you better directions, labeling the parts, so that you have a better understanding of what you're doing, and it doesn't take 2 days. Okay, so I guess what we're wanting to, share with you is that they turned out well. They're called Romik, is that right? Romik runners, and they do specifically make these for the Ford Transit vans and different other vans as well.
Well, again, these are no drill. There was no drilling required. It was all existing kind of.
We do not like to drill into the van because we don't want to create rust issues. We don't want to create spots that water can start getting into the vehicle. So we just don't do it. I'm
not comfortable drilling into the van.
No. So anyhow, we really just want to sum it up by saying that if we can do it, anybody can do it. And I would say Shannon did. I was like the helper. Okay, that's it. I probably would have never figured this out because I'm not good with this kind of thing.
I probably will not volunteer to ever do that again. But we did it.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a good product. It's going to work out fine. It's just that the instructions were terrible.
They look sharp.
Yeah. So that would be my suggestion for the company who sends these out. Is there are a lot of us out there that don't do this all the time, would need much more detailed instructions, so it wouldn't take as much time, and maybe they could work on that part of it. But yeah, we're happy with them. So yeah. All right. So anyway, there you go. So I guess our final thoughts are,
it wasn't easy, but we did want to show anybody else who's out there who wants to do some kind of improvements, upgrades to their van, that give it a shot. Just don't be in a hurry to get done.
No.